Check out this keynote. We gotta do a better job of keeping up with all things AI, even though it's freaking ridiculous
Launch an
how
application,
fast things are moving.
click and type. We now replace that with explain to the AI what we want, our intent, and the AI generates the code or uses tools and produce the necessary output. It is the ultimate disaggregated and distributed computing model. Today's agents are relatively simple users of tools. Tomorrow, they're going to be very sophisticated users of tools. They solve some of the most important problems the world knows. The memory system of AIs is going to cause the storage system to be completely revolutionized. It's precisely the reason we built our next generation, Vera Rubin. Vera Rubin is not one chip. This entire thing is Vera Rubin. From end to end. It has GPUs, Vera Rubin NVLink 72. Each one of these systems would be a complete revolution in itself. Vera Rubin is the most ambitious endeavor in the history of our company. A long time ago, NVIDIA used to be a GPU company. But over the years, we've evolved. We've become a systems company. You're looking here now for the most complex systems, most complex and ground-up system ever designed. But ultimately, our customers, our partners, don't want to buy computers. They want to build AI factories, which is the reason why NVIDIA has really started to transform ourselves yet again. We are building a full-stack system so that our customers could build amazing AI infrastructure. I'm so happy. Here I am standing in front of you. Vera Rubin is in full production.
Interesting.
This is Vera Rubin. Vera Rubin NVLink 72. This is Vera CPU rack, 256 CPUs, all liquid cooled. This is the Vera Bluefield storage processing system. No cables, no hoses, no fans. There's a PCB in the middle, which connects both sides. What used to take 2 hours now takes 5 minutes. A CPU the world has never seen before. We call it Vera. This is CPU for agents. All the CPUs of the past we built for humans. This CPU is built for agents. Now, inside our system, it's used for 3 different ways. The first way, of course, is Vera Rubin for thinking. And inside the Vera Rubin rack, there are already 2 CPUs. The Vera Compute is used for the harness, the orchestration of the AI models, tool use, accessing the database. And the data servers are right here, Vera Bluefield, the fastest storage system the world has ever made. This is the first CPU that's been built a long time, that is literally at reticle limits, with a fabric that connects all of the CPU cores that is speed like 3.6 terabytes per second. NVIDIA Vera is the CPU built for the agentic loop. Vera is the CPU for the age of agents. The takeaway here is that this is the application pattern. This is the computing pattern of the next decade. And so we have the NVIDIA Agent Toolkit for enterprise AI. You can run agents from anybody. You can run Cloud Code, Incredible Agent, Codex, Incredible Agent. You can run it inside this harness called OpenShell, which will be highly secure for your inside the enterprise. NVIDIA is dedicated to build open models for the world so that all of you, all of us, could create our own agents. Today we're announcing the Nemotron 3 Ultra. Yep, our next open model. And it is smart. All of this from the model, the training script, and the data made completely available to you. Microsoft and NVIDIA are going to reinvent the PC. Introducing RTX Spark. Everything we've learned over 33 years distilled into one chip. Blackwell RTX GPU with 6,144 CUDA cores, 1 petaflop of AI performance. A custom 20-core Grace CPU built in partnership with MediaTek. Fused by NVLink. 128 gigabytes of unified memory. And in close collaboration with Microsoft, a Windows platform for agents. We're reinventing the personal computer. Here it is. Of course, I gotta show you the most beautiful part, which is video games. It's also the closest to our heart. This is the most amazing chip the world's ever built. Every single application NVIDIA has ever created, and every single application that Windows has ever run. Microsoft and NVIDIA meticulously optimized everything so that this computer literally runs everything the world has ever created, plus it now runs agents. This is the first completely re-engineered, reinvented line of PCs that has happened in 4 years. Everything in Windows, and it has 768 gigabytes of memory. And so you can run a trillion parameter model. This is unbelievable. 20 petaflops, 8 terabytes per second of memory bandwidth, and this sits by your desk. 15, 20 years ago, we used to have an idea called a phone. Today, we have an idea called a PC. Today, when you think about your phone, the one thing you don't do with it is make phone calls. You do just about everything else. And so that phone means something very different to you than a phone of the past. I'm certain what's going to happen here is that the PC 10 years from now, and the PC that you think about today, a tool, whether you launch applications, click and type, and this PC is going to be completely different. You would have assist AI agent computers running in your house. And these, in time, becomes a lot more like R2-D2 to you. It becomes more like C3PO to you. We will have a desktop, a laptop, a workstation, and then a desktop, a laptop, and workstation. And the thing that I'm just incredibly pleased, incredibly honored, is that 100% of the world's PC industry has joined us to reinvent the PC. A new line, a new beginning. Today we're announcing Cosmos 3, the foundation model for all of your work. Whenever you want to create a robot, whenever you want to create a factory robot or a robot that works in a factory, any kind of robot that involves physical world, you now have a companion. Cosmos watches the physical world, understands what's happening, describing scenes, and flagging what matters. As a world model, Cosmos generates physics-accurate synthetic video from an image, text, or video. Cosmos, the foundation for developers of the age of physical AI. Today we're announcing Alpha Myo 2, an open model for self-driving cars. We're working with car companies across the world. If you look at these brands that have signed up for the NVIDIA Hyperion, that are building NVIDIA Hyperion cars, this represents about 80% of the world's cars.
Hey Mercedes, let's go to my favorite sandwich shop.
Routing to your destination.
Lane is clear. Pulling out to start drive. Nudge left due to the stationary lead vehicle ahead blocking our lane. Slow down to stop at the stop sign, controlling the intersection.
Alpha Myo, the world's first reasoning autonomous vehicle, the NVIDIA Isaac GR00T, is our humanoid robotic stack. Data generation, simulation, the runtime, including the operating system. This represents GR00T platform, the Isaac GR00T platform. Every one of our systems, as you can see, the exact same pattern, whether it's a agentic system for the cloud, a agentic system for the PC, a robotic system for a self-driving car, a robotic system for human and robot, all the same. We need a reference platform for robotic systems. These robotic systems are so complicated, so many.
That's interesting. I don't know. It's like some really cool stuff, and it's almost like inevitable that, like, yeah, we all imagine at one point robots can kind of help us out. Flying cars. The future, like all these movies we used to watch in Hollywood. I guess this makes sense. It's coming out, and it's going fast. Like, it's crazy how technology moves. It moves so fast that it almost doesn't give you time to comprehend. Like the fact that the cell phone's only been out for X amount of years, right? And then the fact that we went from not even having a camera on there to now the photography you can take with it, the things that you can do with it. It's calm. It's like almost just not like comprehensible about like where we came from, how fast it happened. Nobody even thought about like how quickly it's moving until it happened, right? There used to be a big cell phone like this big. They used to call from landlines, like none of it. It just moves fast, but that's kind of cool. NVIDIA's keynote. I'm excited to see what happens in the future. It's been a minute since laptops have actually been, especially Windows laptops have really been changed and even been better. Windows laptops, personally for me, have always been like decent when you first buy them, and after that it just kind of sucked or like went downhill or like started getting bogged down. Like it's kind of nice to see that they're finally doing something with it. So all right, let's get back into 140K a month is kind of nuts for that restaurant. Let me go back to what I was working on. Phase 2 is done. This ran for 40 minutes. Wow. Zero hard-coded brand orange hex values. What was accomplished? So what I'm trying to do here is unify everything across Market Hustle. So the issue with Market Hustle, there isn't like a huge issue. It's just that like when you're trying to make design changes, I think that anytime you try to make a design change, it's really, really hard if there's references to files like 30, 40, 50 different places all over the app. And so making a design change, sometimes you don't know, it's like hard-coded, right? So like if I wanted to change all the buttons across Market Hustle, I don't want to have 60 buttons and then have to go into each button and replace the hex value, right? I want all the buttons to reference one value in like a style sheet or whatever, in like a source of truth file where it says, hey, all buttons are this orange color. And then when I change that one specific color for the orange, then all of the other buttons change automatically. So now all we need to do is change the file in one place, right? Whereas we have to change like 60 times. Or imagine we have 1,000 services, so imagine trying to change the button 1,000 times, right? It's just stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's slow. So now you can just do it one time, and then all the buttons would change. And unifying your design pattern makes it really easy for you to manage and make changes later, right? Even the padding, even how rounded each card is, or liking a one of these, like the animation for it. You don't want to do anything multiple different places, because so first thing that I had a issue with right now, so you can see that each of these has a share button, right? You can go ahead and hit the share, and then you can share it. But if you go in here, you guys notice the share button here seems a little different right now, doesn't it? Like over here, we had like a share button that would pop up, and it's a different share button too. But the animation, I don't know if right now I think it's just, I swear something looks a little different. What is it? Besides the actual icon itself. All that to say, I was having issues where, no, it looks the same. I was having issues where it was completely different. It was almost like when I told AI, like, hey, make sure you can share these service cards with other users. It made two different files for sharing, so one for the home page and one for the search page. And so because of that, it wasn't unified, and so users would get two different experiences for sharing. But why would you ever need two different experiences for sharing? It should be the same thing, right? So that needs to automatically change, and I unified it and across with a lot of other stuff that it still needed to be unified. So phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Okay, continue. Okay, that. Let's go into here. My recommendation. So one thing that I'm trying to do that you guys really need to focus on, and when you come to launching production applications or anything in prod, right? From somebody who's worked on actual production code in at companies and stuff, one of the biggest things is anytime anything has a downtime, you never want any of your production sites to go down during business hours, right? If you're ever gonna make sure it goes down, it's always scheduled after hours. It's completely approved by everybody saying like, hey, a holiday's coming up. Let's make the change at 12 a.m. or let's make the change after like 8 p.m. Like users are not online at that time. And then communication would have to be sent out if we are taking the main website down for a X amount of time, whatever it might be. So for right now, when you're first building your whatever it might be, your startup or application, everything is easy to do when it comes to making changes when it's all in like production, right? There's no like copies of the production into a staging branch or a dev branch. Pretty much everything you're changing right now affects the live site, but what you would normally do is you would have a test environment where you test everything in your test site, and then you would push it out to production after you make sure everything is good. Right now, even for me, I was just testing directly into my main website right now in the main database because I didn't have users who are going to be affected. It's just me looking at changes right away. So if I wanted to turn this button and put it over on the left side, it wouldn't matter because we don't have users. We can test it out. It's fine. But once we get users on here, you don't want to make changes like that while we have users using it. You want to go ahead and put it into a dev environment and then go from there. And then also another issue is that the database is different and the front end is different, right? The database, which has all these things, I was just going ahead and making changes to the database in production. But when you get to a live website where you have actual users, you don't want to change the main database. You don't want to mess these things up. You want to go ahead and take a copy of this and then use that as your testing ground. So that's the one thing that I did. And right now I have everything running on a VPS. A VPS is pretty much just a virtual private server where I can host my website without it going down, right? I can have it hosted on my desktop right now, but then I would have to keep it up all the time. And if it ever shut off for whatever reason, my whole website would go down. And then there isn't backups. When you use like a dedicated website like DigitalOcean or any of these other websites out there, they usually, like if one of the servers goes down, they have thousands of other servers that they would switch to. The data gets replicated to another server. You never really lose. You're not really down for long, right? Ever. So all that to say, let me catch up on what I was even doing. Cluster the web plus cron gate the backend. Biggest win. Directly saves, never goes down. Why is it all like that? I don't know why it's doing this. Makes Mongo down into staging, run on demand, but I push back on routing every change through dev, approved prod, your solo pre-revenue, and you said you don't want to be bogged down forcing a UI tweak. Yeah, I don't want, I think we can skip the test environment. We can go straight from dev to prod. The pragmatic model that fits you, fast lane, motion, push, deploys to prod, zero downtime, done. Trivial state because of rolling deploys of auto roll. Careful lane, risking only change. Push to staging, prod, mirror data. Eyeball it, one click, promote to prod. Safety when you decide you want it, not text every change. My recommendation for you, concretely do zero time rollout first. Cluster the web plus ground gate, biggest one directly serves. Never goes down, bogged down, forcing a UI tweak through push promote will slow you down for a little bit. Why is it saying the same thing? What in the world is going on here? Want me to start with zero? Well, that's the only. That's the one that flatly fixes the site shouldn't go down for users. I implement the cluster config plus bracket and then do a control promote and actually measure that there's no 502 gap. And tell me your preference. Explain this stuff to me. So sometimes, right, a lot of these things, even if you understand the concepts, it is nice to always brush up. Even me, someone who's been in here, it's hard to keep up with every part of technology, right? There's reasons why we have dedicated engineers for specific tasks, right? Like we have a lot of network engineers, and network engineers cannot do what coding users can. Well, now you can with AI, but network engineers and coders or whatever, they're very different, right? And then if you have the front end guys versus the back end guys, very different as well. Front end guys might be working in Figma 90% of the times, creating a lot of UI changes, and they might not be writing scripts on the back end. They might not be writing Python scripts and stuff. Yeah, you guys can kind of have an idea like, oh yeah, the network, these switches are what's keeping stuff alive. Like I'm not a network engineer, and it is really cool, and it's very important to keep the network live and to make sure that we have everything, working properly when it comes to a network, or else you can't get online. But all that to say, it's always there's a lot going on when you're manually doing everything yourself, right? You are everything. You are the guy who, you are the network engineer, you are the front end engineer, you are the back end engineer, you are the marketer, you are the CEO. Everything is up to you. So it is nice sometimes to just double check your knowledge. And sometimes, I'll admit it, I don't know. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, this all makes sense to me to a certain degree. Like if I read this over, right, and like again, I am somebody who's been in IT and stuff, and I understand this stuff. At the same time, I don't. Like it makes sense, but sometimes, a lot of times, I think people are scared to ask questions. But you should never be. That's exactly how you learn, right? So when it's telling me it's doing, well, let's say, like what I think's happening, or what I get from this, and I'm sure, I don't know what cluster the web here means, right? Clustering means, maybe it's a simple term I should have known by now, but I don't. Clustering the web, I don't necessarily know if that's building multiple, I don't know, clustering like multiple different sites, I don't know. Cron gate the back end, so I'm guessing this has to do with scheduling whatever on the back end, like any cron jobs are pretty much just like time scheduled jobs that run. So like at 6 a.m. if you want to run something, it's a cron job, right? It's gating the back end so it doesn't run, I'm guessing, at specific times. What is it? Sidechain go down for users. Cluster config, so and then do a control promote to actually measure that there's no 502 gap before, and tell me your preferences. Yeah, explain this stuff to like 15 so we can proceed. Alright. So I gotta start marketing. The biggest thing for me now is just getting users and marketing, which again, it's not, I talked about this in my last stream. It's not hard in theory to, when it comes to marketing, right? Marketing, it just takes a lot, right? You have to try multiple different things to just start marketing, right? And then you just got to pick one that works. So let me tell you, all 5 phases complete, tokenization is done, principles doc done, dev style guideline done, everything, nothing's pushed, restart the server to see the living reference. We have this. Oh, nice. Interesting. I like that everything is here. Avatar, standard card, interactive card. Power to see, default, Excel button variants. Why is the destructive button so big? Oh my goodness. This is actually so cool that I got to see this, and this is exactly what I needed to unify a lot of my UI designs, because when you're building, I kept telling it to do a bunch of different things. So now that we've seen some of the stuff, this is all somewhere in Market Hustle, right? And now that's concerning me because I want to know when we have some of this stuff. So for example, this destructive button, I think it's there when you're trying to delete a service. I remember seeing it, but it's so large. We don't need such a big button. Like, when have you ever seen a delete button on any like a website that's like super apparent like that? So that's one thing that I gotta look at and to figure out. Badge variants, not bad, but it's not cohesive. Like, we gotta make that a little bit more cohesive. Link, why do we have an Excel link? Like, what is this? I gotta look into this. New badge, that's fine. Price display is fine. Shadows is fine. Empty state, I don't know what that is. Okay, let me go ahead and ask AI. Okay, this is really cool. I love my style guide, but I want to ask, where is this destructive button variant showed? You're showing all these really cool things that's in our design system. Can you also, maybe in a document, or maybe it doesn't have to be on localhost, on Market Hustle, just an HTML document for me or anywhere, or it could be on this that we just keep updating so we always have references to this. Can you also explain to me where all the references for each of these things are in our application? So for example, for the button variants, can you write down like where each button variant is, right? The Book Now button obviously is on a home page, or it's on the search page, and it's for services that are instant bookings. The heading text is for, I don't know, the titles of service cards. The footnote is on the bottom of the footer of our website. The caption is the caption on a actual like description. I don't know. Is that like, I'm trying to figure out where all this is referenced. The micro text, the 9 pixels. Where is that even referenced? Why do we have such a small like 9 pixel reference? Status warning. I don't know if I like that status warning color. Can you also describe where each of these status warning colors are? I'm guessing those are the badge variants that kind of go hand in hand, right? But the success green looks a little different from the status success that you're showing. So can you just go ahead and write down where each of these references might be, in which areas and stuff like that? And I think that would make it a lot easier for me to understand most of this. Let's see, that's pretty cool stuff. Let me see that, and then what's going on here? RM2 so 1 hour and 0 downtime for your issue. I'll test it carefully. Okay. Push fast. The moment you push your changes, they start going live on their own. No extra setup. Best for moving fast to low. Still auto reverts if a change is broken. Okay. Changes it and go live when you click run. I'll do that. So I'm still gonna go with the fastest path until I start getting like proper, like a lot of users consistently using the application. Then I'll probably go into a go live situation where I have to promote each time. But I still think, you know, pushing a lot of changes right now would be extremely fast and helpful. Okay. Okay, so going back to what I was saying about marketing, marketing is all about, obviously you come up with a plan. At this day and age, I can try to like, if I even had to put myself on, it's so crazy. Like I feel like it's easy in theory. Like when I try to help somebody, I know exactly what they might need to do. When it comes to my own self, it's a little difficult. But if you really want to do marketing to that level of skill or whatever, you have to try a bunch of different things, and you have to see which one works. And one thing would be to obviously try a lot of stuff. You got to hit TikTok, you got to hit Instagram, you got to hit all these platforms. For depending on what type of content you're making, like for me, if you're trying to get a marketplace going that has to deal with a lot of people doing side hustles, I think the easiest marketing tool for that is to highlight the actual users who are doing side hustles, right? It's like a no-brainer. It's almost like that's the only thing you need to do, and your marketing does itself, because you just interview the people who do all these amazing businesses who are doing these side hustles that are making 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a month, and trying to put them on. And if you just market that and show that to the other users and end users, people are going to be like, wow, this looks amazing, I want to book them, right? Those people have already done the marketing for me. Now I just got to go interview them to market the application to get them on here, right? That's it. It's so simple. But you know, instead of trying to like buy Google ad spend and do all this, which is, I'm not saying is wrong, it's just like in the initial stages, it's kind of simple. All right, you get like a lot of content by going to interview people who are doing side hustles, especially something cool, right? There's a guy on Facebook who goes on his Meta glasses and interviews people just doing like who are selling Facebook Marketplace, selling stuff out their house, right? And then he's gotten like 1.3 million followers. There's other people who, I love this guy who does these, he invites impersonators and like magicians or entertainers to his house, and it's just him, right? And it's gotten crazy number of views. But those are the people that I need. I genuinely want Market Hustle to be the spot people to go to for them just getting better and increasing their revenue, right? I think with this new age of AI and stuff, side hustles are just the most important thing. Like you cannot get by on just one singular income nowadays. You always need something. Like America is all about working and keeping you busy, and side hustles are an easy way to kind of, if you don't get a side hustle, it's getting to the point where you're probably never going to not be able to take a vacation, or you already can't afford anything on a singular job, right? Like the whole American dream is kind of almost dead for the average American. If you're not coming from, like, I don't know how to put it, but it's so hard, and I can't conceptualize it sometimes to that level, because I never had anything like a silver spoon where I'm just like rich and I have money handed to me. I don't, right? Like I'm still like, I have to work or else I can't afford an apartment. Like there's no like, oh, I have my dad to kind of like pay for everything. No, I have their house that I can go back to and live there for a little bit, or like stuff like that. But nobody's got like, oh, if things don't work out for me, like 50, 100K. But all that to say, my point is that like some people don't even have that, right? If I lost my job right now, then it would be just tough paying for an apartment. I can't. Then I would have to hustle. Like I don't have money saved up. Like the average American wouldn't have like lots of money saved up and all this kind of stuff. And just working a normal steady 9 to 5, you're not going to be able to afford your kids. Like I'm just talking about myself and affording a house right now and all this kind of stuff. But imagine if I had like 2, 3 kids and I was trying to send them to college. I'm trying to put them in classes and swimming, try to have good schools. Like there's just so much going on. So like, do you really think you can afford to do that on like a 70K salary? Probably not, right? Can you afford to do that even on an 80K? No. You most likely would need to work your normal job and then make an extra couple, like even an extra $1,500 a month on a side hustle would be enough to keep a lot of people genuinely out of that stress level of like, oh, I can't pay like my bills today, right? So that's the type of level stuff going on. So for me, I'm always thinking like in the future, I just think that you have to have a side hustle. And everyone is already doing it. COVID accelerated this whole entire side hustle business, right? You need a side hustle. Like everyone has, and I genuinely think everyone has something to offer, right? Everyone has a specific service they can offer other people. You all have skills and talents, right? And it's time to monetize them. And not in a greedy and capitalistic way, right? It's more so like people need these services, right? For me, like for example, I need somebody to, like if I'm working all day, I need somebody to possibly clean my car. Sometimes you don't, right? But if I have somebody come over and they're already near my neighborhood or they live by, and then they charge me about like $40. I mean, it's worth it doing it for them to do that 2 hours versus me doing it. Or obviously you can argue like, hey, you don't need to do that, but there's a lot of services like that. For example, if I need to go to a host, like there is just so many services out there. Like for even example, like dog grooming, right? I saw a truck the other day that comes to your house that does dog grooming. That's pretty cool. It's just in the back of the van truck. You don't have to take it somewhere. So like, because if you have to take, like, let's say you're working, you have to schedule an appointment. You have to get in the car. You have to make sure the dog's ready. Take it to the whatever Petco or something. If they clean it out there, get it washed, get it back, right? You can have somebody just come to you. That's another side hustle. You have people sell it. Like if I'm hosting a party, I don't want to cook. I just want to order for 20 people, right? And somebody's already cooking some great stuff around me or something. I can just order from them. They're making it out their house anyways. Maybe they're making it just for, like, I know that they make it for the weekends. Like, hey, let me just go order for them. They're nearby. Like, there's a lot. There's people who are genuinely good with, like, I mean, I'm talking about like important services that you might really need, but there's also like the luxury ones or like the entertainment ones for kids' birthday parties. There's bouncy houses. I know somebody who's doing a side hustle for renting out a mechanical bull at parties, right? They'll come and set up a mechanical bull at your house. There's people doing like golf simulations for corporate events. They'll come and do a golf simulator. There's people who are making slime at like a booth for kids, so you can go ahead and create your own slime. There's obviously all the food vendors at a lot of these events that you need. There's people who are doing, like, there's just goes on and on. All that to say that everyone has a service. Like people who are playing sports, right? Like for basketball, it's you want a trainer for your kid. It's hard finding that, right? But there might be a neighborhood kid who's really good, or like a high school or college guy who probably retired. He's just working his 9 to 5, but he's good enough to teach your kid. Maybe he'll do lessons on the side because basketball is his passion. And he can make a little bit of bread doing that, but it doesn't have to be his full-time gig. It's a side hustle, right? Because it takes a lot of dedication to go fully into that. And you can just get paid for something as small. For me, one of the major breaking points of trying to start Market Hustle was when I had my motorcycle. I had my cafe racer. I could not find anyone to fix it. And I was like, wait, there's got to be somebody that knows how to fix older bikes. It was a 1973, I mean, I still have it. It's a 1973 Suzuki GS750, and the carburetors weren't synced up. And I was like, oh my God, there's got to be somebody who works on these things in their free time in the garage. I'm sure that they don't want to create an entire shop and open up a whole shop and an LLC and then get paperwork and then be like, hey, I'm going to start doing this full time. No, they might just work on these things on the side. And you can go ahead and just like hit them up and be like, hey, can you fix my bike? I'll give you like $200. And then they're like, you know what? I'm free next weekend. Sure, I'll stop by. Right? But they don't want to do this full time. They're not trying to advertise themselves. They're not trying to market themselves. They're not trying to create a whole Instagram page and all this kind of stuff. Right? That stuff is just too much. It's just like, hey, I need the service. You live in this neighborhood. You live 5 miles from me. Come through, fix my bike. Here's $200. Everyone's happy. This is stuff that people need. Right? So that's the whole goal. But let's see, open this live page. Destructive button using cancellation, refund buttons, appointment detail. Only 13 uses total required optional form, vendor badge, comment badges, avatars, status meetings. This is a destructive amber used in badge component. Open docs reference. Okay. We go ahead and open this. Why can't I click on this one? Let me go ahead and open it. So I'm already in there. Docs. What is this file called? Design system reference. Nice. Okay. Mark Hustle system design. I don't know. What is this success light color? This is like useless. Oh, that's like what the green is, right? There's like the green in the back, and that's what's making it sense. Okay, neutral scale, typography, 13 total uses. Where? Required optional labels in the form builder, vendor, booked, comment badges, new sale overlay badges, avatar, initial. I always want to ask it, can you show me like examples? This is becoming a really cool like reference document. This is actually really awesome. I like this style guide a lot. Can you go ahead and actually add in examples of where all these are in our website? So like you don't have to show me all 13 references. For example, for like the 9 pixel micro text that you have, it says 13 total use cases. Can you go ahead and show examples of like maybe 2 or 3 where, you know, the like a screenshot or like where that actually is used? Same with all the other ones, like the 10 pixel one, 11 pixel a footnote. I want to just kind of see where this stuff is used, right? Like I know I have an idea, but there's so much stuff in here. I kind of want to just see a quick reference in the actual production website of where all these things are being used. And then I can really like get a good idea of like, hey, should we continue to keep this or should we change something for this, you know? Okay, let's do that. What is the style guide? Okay. I mean, this is the same thing. I like the HTML document better. I want to see actual examples though. Seeing the actual examples would really help me make this a lot better. Okay. Let's see what happens here. can we go ahead and try to test this out, and can you go ahead and see if it's working correctly? So what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and push a change, and then let's see if it safely builds. Let's make sure the website never goes down when we make this change, and everything looks and works as perfectly normal. A end user would not know the website went down, right? Like, obviously there might be major changes that where we might have to take it down, but for general like UI tweaks, if I was going to change the wording of a text or like a button style, we shouldn't take down a website for 3 minutes, right? So can we go ahead and test this out and let me know the results that you come back with, if it went down or not? Okay, let's see that. Perfect. This is what I needed. Logo text, sign in button, homepage anatomy, hero card, find something great, Texas, bold white, search input, trending card title. It's not bad, but it's a little confusing now because everything looks the same. I can't tell. Where's like the buttons and stuff? I know the desktop site is messed up anyways. Where is the references to like the buttons and stuff? For example, the screenshots you upload is not bad. It's a little confusing because everything I was trying to like I don't know. I don't know what's a better way to organize this. It's kind of hard for me to tell. Like, I still don't know where the buttons are for like destructive buttons, right? You mentioned that we have a destructive red button, and it looks pretty big. I don't know if that's the actual size of the button or if you just made that button a little bit bigger. But everything should be to scale, right? But I want you to show the reference of where that might be. Like, it could be one reference. I know you showed me where the sign in button and then the 13 pixel semi bold font text. I think you showed me where all the text might be. I still don't see where the 9 pixel latest 2 weeks ago. Okay, I think I see the 9 pixel text. But I wanted to also see like some of these design styles for the success, like all these badges, right? Where are all the badges coming from? Show me screenshots of when each badge might get posted, the success badge, the error badge. Show me where each of the buttons are. Like the book one, I understand that's on the book now page. I think that one's easy to see. But the destructive button, maybe show me the actual thing, the outline, sign up instead, all that kind of stuff. Show me a little bit more screenshots and make it more organized so I know exactly what we're talking about. The screenshots are getting a little confusing, but make it more, I don't know, easier to understand or see. Let's see what it comes up with. I'm not entirely sure myself. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'll be back while this is going.